big hit, baby. It's time for Lisa, right? Yes. So, hello everyone, on a new time course for the cure of depression. Nesko-chan! I made this GIF last season when it aired, and yeah, I got a lot of likes and put on Reddit on. I love this scene. This is my favorite scene. Come on, it's the best scene. When Nesko is like, escape! Come on, it's the best scene. Oh, it's godlike. It is goddamn godlike. I made this GIF. Well, that. But anyway, so Demon Slayer, of course, is back, right? Kinda back. And you know what I mean? It's like on the Mugen train. A lot of people have asked me to, of course, watch the anime, right? React, review, whatever, so on. I feel I get the question like every day. No, but, you know, quite common, yeah, especially on Sundays. But as I keep saying, and the reason is, I don't know, I never like people do this like fake shield reaction, where they kind of watch something like, whoa, you know, so on. Of course, someone might do that for real, right? And I do something too, right? Like, for example, last Sunday on Miruku-san, I was like, whoa, that was absolutely, I was like, that really was this kind of reaction for me, right? From Miruku-san. That anime is amazing, yeah. That anime is like, whoa, suddenly. But, as I've seen the movie then, Demon Slayer, right? I feel like I'm gonna assume that I've seen 80 or 90, you know, percent of the episode, right? So I feel it's gonna be like a fake reaction, right? If I wanna watch it. That's what I'm waiting for, of course, for the real season 2, so to speak. That being said, though, I do love Cure of Depression, though, but I do love, of course, openings. I am a huge fan of openings, right? I always say that my absolute favorite thing of every season, especially when you have shonen animes like Demon Slayer, right, and My Academia and so on, and they have a new opening, and we can do the opening. And I started to do it last week, there was a Mob Psycho trailer, so I was like, Mob Psycho is by my, yeah, so I forgot about this thing. But, so we're gonna watch the opening now, right? And I'm gonna do the opening, and as I said that, I have seen the movie, right? And the opening is obviously gonna cover some bit of the Mugen train, so yeah, that I suppose, right? That wouldn't really surprise me. But, I'm hoping for some new characters, of course. I'm hoping for some new bad guys, right? Maybe some new heroes, whatever. That's what I love doing, especially again for shonen openings, of course. Because shonen openings, you have, you always have some kind of hint into the new guy, or maybe a new power up or something, right? Of course, it might be like Black Clover. It's like, oh look, it's this new power up. You're like, yeah, that's kind of spoilery. Like, it might be like some animes where they show you everything. Not too much here, but one of my favorite openings, how bad it is, it's definitely one of the FT opening. I think it's FT 22, 21. Like, We Are the Law for the opening is. They're literally showing like every character in the whole opening. They're kind of bam, 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 and how they're gonna lose and who's gonna defeat them. They like show like every matchup literally, and like, oh, Wendy's gonna beat this girl, and this girl, then you told her she's not dead anymore, she's alive actually. Yeah, this girl's gonna return. And it's like every power up is shown in the opening. You're like, okay, I can watch the opening and get like the whole season in one opening here before everything happens, right? That one is fantastic from a spoiler standpoint. One Piece opening 12 will literally show you the whole Impel Down arc. It's like all the characters in Impel Down are shown, you know, I spoiled for One Piece, but they're spoiling all the characters that Luffy picks up in Impel Down, right, are shown in the opening, like 50 episodes before it happens. And also everyone they're gonna fight are shown too. You're like, that's a good opening. And also, Yowashi Pedal, the bike-cycling anime, where there's one opening, I think it's opening 4? Yeah, there's a 5 openings in one. Opening 4, they show you every racer's track order. They show you who's gonna win, second place. They show you literally all the places of all the 12, like, you know, important bikers. Yeah, they show you literally every order they're gonna fall out or win. It's ridiculous, like every perfect. The opening is literally exactly the order that it goes. And that is then like 30 episodes before it happens, right? So, this opening might be spoiled. I'm just saying that I have seen anime openings a lot in my life, right? Since 30 years of being an anime fan. And yeah, some openings are a little bit like, oh, you're showing me everything. Yeah. But this opening here starts with a train, I guess. So, I'm doing the type, we won't do sound, of course, because it's like least that's obviously gonna be copy if you do, yeah. So some people complain that, oh, why aren't you doing the sound in the opening reaction? If I do the sound video, obviously it will be have a very hard time being on YouTube, whatever. Very much of the famous singer like this. Oh, it's gonna be super hard, right? But anyway, let's start it. Hopefully though, I said before you watch it, right? Also the openings, hopefully it doesn't do too much spoilery. The perfect shonen opening is kind of what I described, not what I described, but the perfect shonen opening is like showing you some details. It's kind of like, let's say something like, I don't know what's the perfect one. Maybe like, one of my favorites like Naruto Shippuden opening 6, right? You kind of see the Raya fight, see the Itachi fight, but you don't see the outcome of the fight. You kind of guess what happened, but yeah, that's like a really good opening. It kind of foreshadows you this character gonna be in a fight, but if someone's gonna happen, you don't technically know, right? Yeah, that's a good opening. But for example, I mentioned that One Piece opening 12 it's like a cool opening, but it's a horrible spoiler, but it's too much, right? Yeah, we want this opening here to be like just the right amount of like foreshadowing, but not telling you who's gonna die, right? Yeah, you want the foreshadowing opening in Demon Slayer here, but you don't know who's gonna die. Like anyway, I love openings. Animals do my shit. Let's start watching it. 3, 2, 1, and go. Okay, here we go. Very flashy. You can see my screen. I have a very big TV, right? So you can, yeah. But of course, it's like, yeah. Lisa, of course, again. So, obviously, Mugen Train. Rapidicious there, right? Yes. Oh, that's nice. I'm getting goosebumps, though. So it looks fantastic. And it's the 4 cursed big baddies. The room. Yeah. Oh, a lot of graves. Okay, good touch to it. I'm getting goosebumps immediately, also. It's a good opening. Goosebumps. Okay, now it's falling into the water. Yeah, of course, the family. His dead family, of course. This is when he saves Nesco at the beginning. And this is the bad guy of the train. The very good song is of Melissa. Definitely. And a very good looking opening, of course. Yeah, and you know, his father. Of course, Rengoku was his father. Yeah. Of course. So it's the fighting there. Nesco-chan is a little bit of the CGI fighting there. Let's see Rengoku, of course, fighting the... I wanted to that's what you said. What if he's up? Yeah. They're gonna show him, of course. The movies have been, yeah. I was gonna say that. I wonder if they're gonna show you the bad, you know, the older bad, right? And of course, this is the Rengoku's father, man. Yeah. Okay, so let's break down the opening. Let's break it down, baby. A lot of people are gonna play that. You didn't show the music, but it was a great song. But just trust me, right? Like, I am sure that people doing a reaction and analyzation to the opening with the music on. But if you do that, you cut and edit for 10 minutes per second. So let's do it like I always do, right? Yeah, I usually don't show the sound. But anyway, it starts, of course, with our little new best friend, right? The fire pillar Hashirama of Flames. Yeah, which of course is Rengoku. And the movie is mostly about him, of course. I have seen episode 1, right? God, that's Spider-Man. I've seen episode 1 of him in Demon Slayer, right? So link for about that. And, you know, he's the focus of the movie and the opening, right? Which is fitting. He is the focus of the opening here. You know, and he kind of body with Tanjiro and so on, right? I'm gonna try to not spoil the movie, I suppose, then people seeing it. So I'm gonna say what's gonna happen, but you know, like, okay, yeah. Like, I was like, okay, yeah, let's. But he becomes a little bit of a mentor, right? But he's like one of the more. I think the opening captures great here because he's one of the more, how to say, the positive. He's very, of course, he's a very positive individual, right? And I think, yeah, the opening captures great here. He's the happy Hashirama, right? The other Hashirama was a little bit like, I don't want to be a hero. Yeah, I just killed them. Yeah, stupid kids. You know, he's the hero. He's the very nice guy, right? So that makes sense, right? He's the more positive in the opening and so on. So that's a great part of it. Yeah, and it's trying, of course, to feed the 10-year-old the food he got in the first episode of the season. That's why I see it. Yeah, so he tried to feed him the food. He's like, eat the food. I bought all of them from this old lady, right? And her granddaughter. Yeah, so he's trying to feed her food. Makes sense, of course. Yeah, they're fighting over the food they have. And then the open does this thing, which I think is great, right? I love animal openings, I think it's really great. They're showing these 4, how do I say it? So obviously, I've seen the movie, right? So it's a bit of a spoiler here, I suppose. It's not a blind reaction per se in that sense. I haven't seen the whole season, right? But you know, maybe they make a new, maybe they're gonna make a new opening. They showed that here. I suppose I wouldn't actually be surprised if they actually make a new opening after this train thing, because this opening was almost on a train, right? So they might make some, yeah, they might make something more. They might make another opening afterwards, but the same song perhaps, right? With a lot of animators, like, you know, they have the same singer or whatever, or this singer, and then they change the visuals, right? Might happen. But anyway, so these 4 humans, of course, are kind of like the corrupted humans that are being, I guess, they're blackmailed, right, to be the bad guys, helping the bad guys, right? So that's good in the opening, like, introducing them, yeah, showing that they are, you know, kind of the, how to say it, the evil humans, so to speak. But it also captures, for example, here, that she is like, obviously, she doesn't want to be a bad person, right? Can see it in her eyes, has that guilt, has that, the weight, right, of doing something wrong, yeah. So that's good in the opening, kind of capture her emotions, right? Of like, I don't want to be a bad guy, but what can I do, right? So that's good. Yeah, same here, you know, he looks very tormented, right, of having to do this stuff. So that's great, yeah. So that is great. They openly capture their feelings there of having to be the bad guy. Then of course we see the hot main baddie. Yeah. So this is not in the movie at all, I believe. Maybe they added it season, but yeah. So it's a little bit of, you know, showing the main baddie waifu, yeah. That's a little bit of a spoiler, I guess, because I've heard this already. That to get me some gender bender or whatever, right? Yeah, it's a little bit. That's not in the with all though. We have seen it before. I do love this scene though. It's kind of a tragic scene, but it has a great feel to it when we see all the graveyards, because of course all these, you know, the slayers, right? The Kimetsu no Yaiba, yeah, they keep dying, right? So that's a good scene. It's like, yeah, like it's kind of a sad scene there, yeah. And of course they have a lot of fallen heroes, so to speak, right? Also, of course, kind of symbolic for what's going to happen in the end of the, you know, the storyline, so on, of this arc. And then we see kind of Tanjiro's family, and that's going. Yeah, we see the family. You know, it's like a nice, good feeling to it. You know, he's crying and running, and then of course we see the main, you know, evil train guy. So this is what I mean. Right? This is what I love in anime openings. No, I have seen the movie, as I mentioned, like 3 times already. But you know what I mean. I have seen the movie. It's a little different now. But if I hadn't seen the movie whatsoever, right? This would have been like, oh, it's a new bad guy, yeah. So it definitely follows that typical shonen opening feeling, right? Where you're like, oh, here's the new baddie. So yeah, that's what one of the things I love, right, in anime openings. And if you only have seen the anime so far, I think this works because you showing him here, you showing them like this, doesn't really tell you what the powers are or how they're gonna fight or whatever, right? We do see a little more later, comment later, but still, this is kind of like, here I am, I'm the new baddie. It doesn't really tell you how they're gonna like address this bad guy, right? I think it's great. As I mentioned, it's about the animes that I refer to like FT. It's like, here's the new baddie, then you see behind the new baddie, it's like an ice beam, and then it dies or something in the opening. You're like, what the? Like, that's basically so many of you're like, oh, okay, it's also showing how they defeat the bad guy in the opening immediately. You're kind of wondering what they're thinking, right? Like, why did they watch the anime? It's like watching a trailer that shows you everything that happened. Yeah, okay, yeah, interesting. I mean, there are some anime openings. I think Black Clover openings are the best, you know, in general. There's so many good openings. But especially Black Clover opening 9, it's like, oh, here's Nua's new power. Yeah, he's fighting this woman and she has a new power. And then you see Nua's new power too. You're like, oh yeah, you spoiled both the bad guy and the good guy's powers in the opening. It's a great opening, but definitely too spoilery. You're like, oh yeah, there we go. That's 2, 3, and also spoils to you. It's supposed to be like 6, 7 characters. Yeah, you're like, oh, that opening is the worst of Black Clover in a spoiler sense, though. Not that we're showing or whatever, but in the spoiler sense. But I think this works because it doesn't really see, you know, what the bad guy can do. So I think that's great. And you see Tanjiro fighting is alright. But I think it really works because, again, it doesn't show you like really what he can do. We see Tanjiro, of course, jumping, you know, and so on. But this is great because it's not like telling you. I mean, also Tanjiro has his powers and so on, but it doesn't tell you what the bad guy can do, right? That's why I think it really works because it is foreshadowing the bad person without telling us what the good guy. I mean, the good guy, we already know he can do this stuff, right? Yeah, so it doesn't really tell us like anything new in particular, except who is the bad guy, right? And that I feel is what an opening should do. Should tell you who the bad guy is and foreshadow a little bit of their powers, right? So you can guess what powers are, but not like too exactly. So that's great. I really love the opening. See, of course, Rengoku and his father. I mean, this is important for him, his backstory and so on. We see it in his, growing up is alright, staying with his dad and leaving his home and so on, yeah. And then we kind of see the other guys who's fighting the tendrils, whatever you call them, yeah, like the tentacles, hen stuff, yeah. Hentai stuff, that stuff. Yeah. So we see it happening. We see Nezuko-chan. She has very little screen time in the opening. Very little cute action. Where's my cure of depression? Yeah. Not much of Nezuko in this opening, that's for sure. Put it up on screen here again. Yeah. Not much of Nezuko. Yeah. That is the big issue of the anime. Where's my Nezuko, right? Let's see the fight. The tendrils. Or tentacles or whatever. The biggest spoil part of the opening, it's probably this part. That I was thinking that why I watched it the first time too, of course. That we see Rengoku fighting, and then we see, yes, here we go. This is probably, I would say, the biggest spoiling part of the opening, right? So I've seen the movie again, so I mean, it's spoiled for me per se. But suddenly, it's another bad guy. Yeah, so I think this is definitely the spoil part of the opening. So sorry now if it's spoiler for you, but I mean, so in the opening, right? We end as an opening, yeah. This is definitely the biggest, I think, spoiler. As I just mentioned, right, we have the other bad guy, and it's like, yeah, he does something, and you can guess that it's connected to the tendrils of the trade or whatever, right? Yeah, so that's fine. I think it's a fine, like, foreshadowing. But then suddenly, we see Rengoku actually fighting another bad person. That is definitely, I think, the biggest spoiler in the opening by far, right? They're actually showing the second bad guy that's gonna appear. Sorry if I spoiled for you now that you're anime on, so to speak, right? But, you know, I'm just analyzing the opening here, so you can't really miss that, in my opinion. Yeah. But I guess you could argue, though, I suppose, that if you haven't seen the movie or whatever, you could argue that, is he fighting him on the train or after the train? I suppose this could be a next arc when they fight this character. So no, I guess at this point they'd be saying he's in this arc, right? But I guess he could also fight him in a later arc. Because this scene here isn't really showing you them actually fighting at the train, kind of, or like in the same story. It could actually be the next arc, I suppose. But still, yeah, this is kind of like showing another bad guy. But I don't think it's that bad though, because it isn't really sure what he can do. They're not really showing what this new bad guy really can, you know, what his powers are, right? So I don't know. I think it's, you could argue it's maybe a little too foreshadowing. Maybe they could have had Rengoku here fighting someone that was shaded, you know, silhouette style, right? I look at the latest One Piece opening, where you have, whatever, Yamato then, right? This spoiler here, but they have Yamato in silhouette, and then you're showing Yamato's real face, right? Of course, that silhouette, I would say, was way too revealing. So maybe it's a bad example, because you could see how Yamato's like face was basically, even on the silhouette. Like it was, that silhouette was like not blurry enough, I guess, whatever. It was too detailed, right? But that kind of opening you could do perhaps too. But I don't know if that would help though. You probably assume that he's fighting a new character anime, because why would they so on a bad guy? But anyway, from what happened though, I think it's a great scene though. We're seeing Rengoku being all stressed out. So I think it's a good scene though, but maybe a little too spoilery. But I think it's on the border, because we're not really seeing any exact details. So I don't think so, at least. So I do think actually it looks like a great scene, and we see them flashing and so on. Yeah, and then of course we see this is a great wallpaper of it, because we see the Hashirimas, we see the pillars, and it's a great detail, of course, that Rengoku's in the middle. Yeah, it's a great detail. Not like an amazing scene or whatever, but I like that he's in the middle. That's a nice touch to it. You know, you're seeing that these, you know, the pillars, and he is a centered piece, right? He's in the middle. So it's a nice touch to it. Yeah, it's a nice touch to it. Then of course this scene happens when Tanya is running in the fire, right? At him standing there. And this is a scene that is probably the most spoilery. Let's be honest here, yeah. If you see the movie, you know what I'm talking about, this is probably the most spoilery scene. This is like, no! You know, yeah, to be that guy, but it's like, no! The senpai, or, you know, yeah, that kind of sensei, like, yeah, it's very much like, you know, he's in trouble. Yeah, it definitely, without actually showing anything, it definitely looks very negative. I guess the difference here, when I think about it though, is a nice touch to the scene, because when I think about it, he is in fire, and normally this thing of course would mean that he's dying, right? Like in most openings, you've seen that one character being inflamed and surrounded by fire, you'd be like, oh shit, he's gonna die, he's gonna burn up alive, right? That would be what it indicates in a normal opening. But he has fire powers, right? You know what I mean? He's the fire guy. So, because of that reason, he's the pillar of flame, right? He's a fire pillar. So, this is kind of, it's interesting. If Tanya wasn't there, if Tanya didn't do this, like, no, before this scene, then, you know, seeing him standing like kind of covered in fire would be definitely more ambiguous, right? If it only was Rengoku standing in fire, I would have been like, maybe he's gonna die or something, maybe he's gonna lose an arm or something, right? You know, yeah, reference, yeah. Maybe they lose like a leg or whatever, but if you know, but he also might just be engulfed in fire, but he's the fire guy. He actually might just be showing his real power, right? Like, hey, I can summon a fire dragon or whatever, yeah. So, if you only look at this scene, it doesn't have to be negative. But normally this looks very, very negative, right, for a character in an opening, if they're still at this. But I guess it doesn't have to be that. The problem, of course, is that problem. But yeah, I think the Tanjiro running at him, looking panicking before, that makes it just very, very negative. So I have to say, I think it was better if you saw him kind of, you know, engulfed in flame, right? And you can like, oh, is he dying, or is he maybe turning his real? It's like, I'm going Super Saiyan, you know. It would be kind of hard to tell because he's a fire guy. So you'd be like, maybe he's going Super Fire Saiyan, or is he just losing a fight? Or who knows? So yeah. Maybe using an armor. You wouldn't know exactly what's going to happen. Now I do feel that this opening here is a little bit like, well, Tanjiro was like, no, Yamero! And it's kind of like, okay, so he's probably going to lose or whatever. But not necessarily again, because he still is the fire guy. So it's not like set in stone, right, that was going to happen. He's going to be in trouble, I guess you can count on it. And then you see the train running past, right. So yeah, definitely spoilery for the opening. And you know what? Let's just go for the ending too. I didn't think about it. Let's go for the ending too. Yeah, whatever. Like, I forgot about it. Yeah, let's go to the ending. I mean, I can just say ending. Why did it freeze for? Sorry. Pressing the button. Nothing is happening. Okay, let me just refresh the page. Hopefully it works. Didn't think about that. Might do I'd do an ending review as well. Right? Yeah, why not, right? Yeah, didn't think about that. Oh yeah, he's dreaming, of course. Yeah, I mean, I've seen the movie, so I'm like, yeah, I've seen the movie. Okay, so here's I'll do the ending review as well. I didn't think about it. Yeah, of course, the new ending. Yeah, sorry about that. Let's do the ending, baby. Yeah, let's do the ending. Jump into the ending. Okay, let's start it. 3, 2, 1, and go. See the train. Higher volume, if you can, good. Yeah, so the train focus a lot. Of course. Yeah, Rengoku again being the focus of this season a lot. That's a nice touch. Yeah, so they're walking behind him. I like this. I love his walk style. Yeah, he can't walk like a nice person. No, he has to walk like crazy. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. Oh, then they're like synchronizing their katanas. That is nice. Yeah, of course, see the family and see, you know, yeah, his family so on. Very, very family-oriented ending here. Yeah. Nesku-chan. No, they're fighting like in a house though, because they're lifting Tatama. Let me see the train again. Tunnel, yeah. No, they're fighting over the food again. It's kind of a happy end. This kind of walking and. Okay, I mean the ending was kind of nice, but I wasn't really saying anything. They're just kind of happy, yeah. It was just kind of nice. So far at least. Yeah, the ending wasn't. I mean, it's a good song, but it wasn't like. The ending didn't have much free time. Honestly, the ending didn't have much to. The ending was just it was a nice, like, here's their families, you know, remember their dead families. Kind of like a nice, sad ending in a way. It was nice though when they were kind of. You know, leading up to putting up the katanas at the same time. Yeah, when they were, what was that? They're kind of like drawing their katanas on the same time. That looked nice. Tanjiro and Rengoku kind of simultaneously, synchronizing their katana pull. What was that scene? I'm going back here. Let's see. So Rengoku, of course, is in the front. He's there, you know, the pillar. So they take a step. It's a nice touch though. Like it flashes when they take a step, right? I like how she also walks behind him in a weird way, definitely. They see their families so alright. And then you can have, this scene where they kind of like pulling out the. This is a nice touch. I like this scene here. There's a nice touch to it. There, yeah, this scene. Definitely that's the best part of the ending. When they're both like, I was in my old katana here. I forgot to have my katana for this. I feel like a noob. Yeah, I have a lot of swords, right? I have a lot of swords, but I do have a fitting. I feel like this would be a good Demon Slayer sword. I feel. Let me go and get it. I should have had it earlier. Sorry, and I'm too lazy to edit this stuff. I am too lazy to edit, so let's use next over here though. Maybe please fight. Yeah, this I feel is a fitting, Demon Slayer katana, right? Because it's like a green. Yeah, it's kind of dark, but it's a green katana there, right? So it's kind of fitting. I would be the Hashirama of plant or something. I would be like, putting up a katana. I'd be like, I have the. Yeah, I would have the Hashirama of something like, like you look at my green katana, right? So I would be like, yes, it's my. I guess I would cut up like a green dragon, or I would get in there and plant something. I guess he was cutting down, right? It's like a plant coming. It's like a vine, slash like a Bulbasaur or something. That would be fitting. But it's a fitting katana I feel for a Demon Slayer. Very, very green, yeah. This katana. We have a lot of katanas, but this is probably the most fitting, I think, for a Demon Slayer feel to it, right? Because it's green. Like, this katana's red, come on. You're gonna have a katana and a color for it. But anyway, that's the Demon Slayer opening, and also the ending there. The ending, I think, was kind of there, right? I said earlier too, the opening, though, they had very little of the other characters, though. I'm not saying that's bad, but as I mentioned earlier, it wouldn't surprise me if they do add another ending, right? Or sorry, opening. I mean, because it wasn't much of the other cats, right? The other bad guys, whatever. So yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if they do a new opening after the train, because we're gonna show some other bad guys, right, or whatever in that opening. But yeah, a nice opening, very good song. I'm gonna be like, shit on your Demon Slayer fans here now. But do I rate it as the best opening though? I don't. I haven't done an opening list yet. But I can. I think it's Sakura. Okay, I'm gonna be like, let's be honest here. I love Demon Slayer. It's a good opening, but it's my favorite opening season though, which I recommend watching for an opening standpoint alone at least. Is Sakugan opening 1 probably. That probably is I think the best visual opening. Father and daughter, underrated anime. I must say the anime is better. I would say the opening. Opening is very cool because they have Kalyu reaching over the ladder and so on. That opening I think is the best opening season. Not saying something is bad, I'm just saying, I'm just being objective. I love to, analyze and compare stuff, and I'm like, man, that opening is really good though. Purely, just the visual of that opening is amazing. The song is good too, but man, like how they're reaching over and so on. It probably, I think it's opening because this opening is very, very visually good. This is arguably Demon Slayer opening here. It is probably the best visual opening, and I mean from not from how it actually visually is, but from my quality. Okay, from my quality standpoint, it's probably the best opening, right? Because it's Ufotable, it's super, it looks amazing, right? The actual sword cutting and so on. This is probably the best beautiful opening, like from a visual standpoint. But I think Sakuga has a good opening too, from a general standpoint, quality standpoint. But what it does with visuals, it's a little more creative, I guess. Yeah, like, I'm not gonna be that guy, but I think something here looks better, right? It's like purely from like a budget, whatever standpoint, quality standpoint. I think that's fair to say. It looks better. Probably looks the best of all the openings for that matter, right? Demon Slayer, this probably is the coolest looking opening, right? Purely like graphical, like 10 out of 10 graphics, right? But I think that Sakuga is like maybe 8 out of 10 graphics, but it's more creative. I have to give it, 10 out of 10 in creative, right? And then I do also like Vampire dies so easily. It's like a dance opening, and I'm a big fan of dance openings. So that is the coolest, funnest opening. This might be like my number 2 maybe after Sakuga, something like that. Yeah, I'm a little bit like it's like this looks better, but I feel that creative edge that the opening had is slightly better. I have to be people are disliking me now. I have to be like, oh, he's hating Demon Slayer. It's one of those people. I say it's a last thing though for the video here. I always say the thing with Demon Slayer. I find it so funny about Demon Slayer. I think it's interesting from a general human standpoint. That I always found Demon Slayer to be a really good anime, right? Also, my favorite anime that year, it wasn't honestly right. I had a few other animes that I thought was better. I thought Mob Psycho was there in the same year, and I think it was like it's a masterpiece. So there was some other animes that I liked more, right? But Demon Slayer was definitely up there. Like, this is my best anime this year, right? when it aired last season. But I think it's so funny because other people are like acting like it's Messiah, right? Like this is the best anime that's ever been made, right? Which I disagree with, but I think it's a great anime. But I don't think it's the best anime ever made. But I think it's up there, right? Or people are like hating it because people have to be so, which I call them real conformities, right? People that love to be so anti when everything is popular because they want to be conformities. They're actually the most conformities, right? They're claiming they're anti-conformities, but if you're 100% against what is popular, you are letting what is popular control you, right? So I was saying, yeah, I think it's really hilarious when I talk to people and they hate Demon Slayer. I'm like, why do you hate Demon Slayer for? Oh, because it's popular, right? You know what I mean? Those people are like, oh, so you're conforming to. I'm not conforming. I'm against I'm against those people. But they aren't, right? Because they're letting the mainstream popularity make them hate an anime, right? For example, I remember people were complaining on Bunny Senpai. When that anime was new. So some people were complaining on Bunny Senpai. Exact same thing there. They were like, oh, it's like so popular. Oh, this anime is crap. I was like, why is crap for? Oh, because it's popular. You know what I mean? Like, it's the same thing. It doesn't make any sense. You have to be objective and say that it's a good anime or not. You know, just because people love this anime doesn't mean it's bad, right? So that's one thing I think honestly one of the best things for me personally to kind of observe and laugh at, right, with Demon Slayer. I do find it really funny that some people are either saying it's the best anime ever been made in every category, right? Which is too hyperbolic for my sense. Or people are saying that it's the worst anime ever made, just because people are saying it's good, right? Where I am, I feel I'm in the, so to speak, trying to be as objective as possible, saying that, it's like a really good anime. Maybe not the best anime ever, but it's really good. Not the worst anime either. It's far from the worst anime. This opening I feel that they do, it's like, well, it's a great opening, but it's not my favorite opening this season. It's my maybe number 3, maybe number 2, right? But not my favorite opening. You know what I mean? Yeah, that's how I am. I expect some people to be angry now because I didn't say it was the best anime opening ever. So this is kind of funny too because I know that people are gonna be angry with me now for not saying this is the best opening. On the same time, or people are going to also be angry for saying it's not the worst opening, right? Yeah, some people are going to be like, how can you say it's a 9 out of 10? It's either 0 or 10. Yeah, it's either like you're pleasuring no one. You're going to burn both bridges, right? Yeah. You either have to love it or hate it, yeah. You can't just be like, I like it. You can't be in the middle, try to fence it, or whatever. But I do look forward to when the anime, of course, going to come out in December, right? It's like 6 weeks now, I think, left. I do look forward to that. Obviously, I've seen the train and the movie like twice, and of course I want to see what's going to happen afterwards. It is one of the best shonen, modern shonen animes. Don't get me wrong, and it's gonna be fun seeing it. It's also gonna be fun seeing people either loving it no matter what happens, and also hating it no matter what happens. Right? For me, the meta thing of seeing people either being insanely in love with it or insanely against it is definitely a bonus for me for any kind of show. It doesn't mean it has to be anime, but I just enjoy the circus around it too, right? You gotta laugh at life, right? But anyway, subscribe and so on. See you guys with, of course, then, I guess next reaction is in like the 5th of December, I think it is, 6th December, something like that. And otherwise, tomorrow we're doing, of course, mostly isekais, yeah. Tomorrow is, it's Komi-chan and then horror isekais, yeah. But I say it here as a side note, I say it all the time, I think, but Assassin, that's tomorrow. It's surprisingly good. It's from Rido Healer, so it has a bad rap because that author is known for Rido Healer. But Assassin tomorrow, I think, is a really good anime. It's actually one of my favorite this season, which I feel honestly surprised that Rido Healer is doing such a cool isekai anime without being crazy, even though it has some weird scenes, but mostly it's like a really good anime. And also I'll say that on Thursday, it's King's Ranking, not King's Game, which is the worst anime I've seen in my life. Really is. King's Game is it's like the worst anime I've seen. But King's Ranking though, episode 2 was amazing. I was amazed by that thing. So check that out. That is amazing anime. Listen to I think. Really waiting for more Demon Slayer stuff. No, but that anime, I was like episode 1 of King's Ranking. I was like, oh, this is pretty good. But episode 2, I was like, this is the saddest backstory this year. Yeah, it was. I was like goosebumping, tearing up the whole episode. It was an amazing episode 2. Episode 1 was comparable to episode 1 and 2 was very weak. Episode 1 wasn't bad, but episode 2 was like 11 out of 10, right? And episode 1 was like maybe 8 out of 10, 7 out of 10. Kind of, yeah, that's pretty good. But so yeah, I really recommend on Thursday if you're gonna watch again, of course. Osama ranking. I really recommend the anime. It might be better than Demon Slayer, arguably, right? I think it probably is going to be better than Demon Slayer if you count in that the train season here is not really a season. It's like the movie again. I could definitely see Osama ranking being the best anime this season, honestly. Because I feel, even though I love Demon Slayer, right? I do feel that okay, what we're going to have like 4 episodes, and I think they're going to do, of course, Demon Slayer after the winter, right? I hope so at least. And I want to have like 3 new episodes. It has to be confirmed, but I really do hope, right, that we're getting like 4 episodes this year, like December, after September, October, so on. Yeah, we're getting December new episodes, like 3-4 new episodes, 3 or 4, and then of course we get more episodes in January, right? I hope so. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I have to confirm, but I haven't read it. But I really hope so, because otherwise I think it's very weak if they only do like December new episodes, right? But I guess we're gonna see. Yeah. But that definitely. Subscribe for that, guys. I'm gonna obviously watch those 4 episodes and then weep if you don't get more. It has to be more, right? Like, leave a comment below if you know there's more. But I say that again. I have a very hard time seeing doing like 4 episodes and quitting that. It's like Attack on Titan did. It was last season or whatever. Attack on Titan also did that. They kind of started in the middle of a season, right? Then they kind of went over into the next year. Yeah, like that's what I expect here. They can't just do 4 new episodes. It would be crazy. I'd be disappointed from. That would be. Man, that'd be so weird. That would be so weird. That would be so weird if they don't do more episodes. I guess I can take a quick check here. I go to the live chart. It will let me see if they say how many episodes now is pronounced now. But I don't think they have announced more episodes. It says 7 episodes there. Okay, it says question mark. Yeah, so the real second season, right? Yuukaku-hen just says question mark episodes. Yeah, so please, if you know to be more episodes, but I think we all kind of assume it, right? That'd be crazy. Yeah, but anyway, that's in 5th December. Yeah, 5th or 6th December then. 1 hour special too. Interesting. We have a double episode. Cool. So yeah, see you guys with that, right? Awesome. Yeah, double episode. So see you guys and have a great day.